Nice tattoo, sweetheart. You get that from a comic book? The laughter came from two men at the far end of the diner wearing matching uniforms and smug grins. Their voices weren't just loud, they were pointed, deliberate, designed to embarrass the woman standing behind the counter, wiping down empty tables. She looked up, met their eyes, then quickly looked away. She wasn't wearing makeup, no flashy jewelry, just a plain grey shirt clinging to her strong, curvy frame. And on her exposed arm, a dark, jagged tattoo stood boldly over a long scar that ran from her elbow to her wrist. It wasn't art, it was identity. The laughter kept going. One leaned back in the booth. What's that supposed to be? Some Marvel fantasy? Or just a failed ink job? Another said, maybe she burned herself trying to be something she's not. The waitress nearby froze. Even the cook glanced through the pass-through window, but the woman didn't react. She simply grabbed the ketchup bottle and moved to the next table until she heard a firm voice from the corner booth. "Gentlemen," the voice said, deep and calm, "you might want to lower your tone. That tattoo means more than you could understand." Every head turned. Seated at the edge of the diner was a decorated army veteran in full-dress uniform, chest weighed with medals, shoulders straight despite the years carved into his face. He slowly stood, one gloved hand on his cane. The mocking soldiers tensed, caught off guard. The woman stopped in her tracks. The veteran walked forward, not with speed, but with a sense of command that filled every inch of the room. His eyes landed on the tattoo on the woman's arm. He raised a trembling hand and gently touched his chest just over his own heart, revealing the same insignia stitched above his medals. The air shifted instantly. "That," he said, pointing at her tattoo, "is the mark of the 102nd Forward Surgical Unit. Afghanistan, 6 years ago. They were the only reason I walked out of that desert alive." Silence. The woman looked stunned. She tried to speak, but emotion caught in her throat. The veteran turned toward the two mocking men. "You think she's just a waitress? You think those scars are something to laugh at?" He leaned closer. "That scar is where she pulled shrapnel out of her own arm with surgical pliers, while stabilizing me under mortar fire." The soldier's jaws dropped. The younger one stammered, "We didn't know." "You didn't ask," the veteran said. "That's the problem." The woman finally found her voice. "You remember me?" she asked softly. He smiled. "I never forgot. You saved more men in that unit than most combat medics with medals." Her eyes welled up. She lowered the towel she'd been holding like armor. The diner was still frozen, watching the moment unfold like a live movie. Then, one by one, people stood. The waitress, a man in a business suit, a mother, with a child. Applause slowly filled the room. The soldiers stood too, but this time with heads bowed. One of them stepped forward. "We're sorry, truly, we didn't know." She didn't gloat, didn't smirk, just gave a small nod. "Next time," she said, "don't assume you know someone's story just because of how they look, or what they wear." The veteran sat back down at the counter, motioned for coffee. She poured it without speaking, her hands still shaking slightly, but her shoulders now stood taller, more grounded, seen. That moment was caught on camera by a teenager at the bar. The clip titled, "She was laughed at for her scars." Then the veteran stood up, went viral in under 10 hours. Comments flooded in. Thousands of veterans recognized the tattoo. Dozens claimed she'd been the nurse who patched them up in the worst of it. She didn't want fame. She hadn't told anyone about her past. She'd come home quietly and tried to blend back into the world. But the scars never let her forget. Neither did the silence, until now. Later that week, a veterans group tracked her down. They offered her a new position, training trauma response teams across the country. She accepted, with tears in her eyes and no apology for who she was. So don't mock the scars you don't understand. Some people wear their courage on their skin and carry stories that would humble anyone if you just took the time to look closer. Before we wrap up this story, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Don't just scroll, we're reading every single one. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know how you feel in the comments.